What's up, guys? It is 12:03, and this means we are ready to take off. Um, Martin here. If you're stumbling on this content for the first time, we're here to talk about different components of photography business. So anything from camera, editing, a client interaction, a lead generation, you name it, it's probably here. There's some stuff about business and Facebook ads. And so every week I essentially go live and I share something that has worked for me in the last 17 years. So if you're building a business, if you're interested in making money with your camera, this is definitely a place. And before I kick it off, this recording usually goes live every Thursday at 12 o'clock, and it's live both on YouTube and on Facebook. The advantage of having this of having the Facebook one is basically you can go back, you can rewatch, and you can ask questions. Speaking of question, like in the group, speaking of questions, also if you're watching this live, if during the time when I go and sort of like present my pitch, you guys have the ability to ask questions. So if something doesn't make sense, if you have questions for maybe a different topic, I would encourage you to leave in comments. So whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, I encourage you go to the comments if you have a question. It's always super helpful just because I know how I can sort of cater the content to you guys and answer the questions that you actually care about. Speaking of which, I had actually a good conversation with a friend of mine, and the problem for her was that she was not blocked by any sort of technical photography related reasons. She was basically stuck mentally, and I can resonate with this because at the very beginning when I started, it's kind of I experienced the same thing. So just to give you guys a quick story, I'll tell you this, that I think I was in my sixth or seventh year of doing photography. People obviously naturally would treat me as a photographer, approach me as a photographer. But for some weird reason in my head, I wasn't a photographer. And I want you to just understand that this has to do a lot with this system that you live in and you're surrounded by, because by school lexicon, if there's no certificate in place, no diploma, no 4 years of studying, like it's very hard to adopt that identity, right? Like I'm a photographer. So I've struggled with this for a very long time, and it's hard. A lot of people find it hard to like. There's this thing that they're doing. Let's say you repair cars on the side, but like you really love photography and you see it as like something cool, something creative. You can actually probably make more money with it than doing car repair. No offense to car repair technicians, but the thing is, you almost have that identity of doing it and then switching over to photography. There's a lot of like friction, and it's a lot of mental friction. And when we do that, we go through this mental cycle, and this is exactly what we're going to talk about today, because I just wanted to make you aware that it's been studied. It's there's some names that I want to bring up and just kind of show you guys what we call Valley of Despair is about. And if you haven't heard of Valley of Despair, you probably heard of shiny object syndrome. And this is the subject of today's video. I always have slides for you. Well, not always, but most of the time I have slides for you. I wanted to take you through my slide deck. And this is, let me see if I can switch over. Let me see. Things changed for me here a little bit. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second, guys. I have to change to this profile here. This should make it easier. All right, cool. So now it would be nice if we could also see the slides. All right, so let's fix it. And this is what I'm sharing with you today. Let me see if I can reposition it somehow, make it a little nicer and tidier. All right, this could be good. And First slide, how to survive the valley of despair. So we're talking about this change, dealing with this change. When you start the business, you're at the beginning of the journey, or like I said, it took me years to freaking figure this out. So so when you're kind of dealing with this shiny object syndrome, how to survive the valley of despair, a walkthrough of the emotional and mental journey photographers face when starting or scaling their business. Second slide, we're jumping right in. So today, before I give you the story about my daughters, because I already gave you mine, we're going to talk about like how to survive the valley of despair, how to make it easier, how to understand it and see it, so you guys know how to set your expectations. You're not discouraged. You're going to eventually at some point hit a wall, mental wall or skill wall or whatever wall, on your way to making it a successful, profitable business. And you need to know how to deal with this. So it's basically a walkthrough of like the emotional and mental journey that all of us face when starting and scaling. The On this slide here, I wanted to basically recap. With me, I already told you the story, but I'll give you another example, which is close to something that we've been as a family dealing with recently. And what happened was, my daughters, for those of you that don't know, they have been attending karate and Muay Thai classes for a very long time. Like they're on their fifth year or whatever. They're getting close to. Actually, they're probably 2-3 months away from getting their black belts. So as you can see in that particular sport, in that particular category, they are sort of achieving this certain, let's call it a mastery, right? They feel very confident there. Like my daughters are okay with getting, hit in the face to a degree, right? But when they decided at one point that they wanted to sort of like venture out, and it's like, okay, what else can we do? One of them picked up volleyball, and the other wanted to do cheer. And it was very interesting because they actually did the switch. And it was like exciting, and it was this new thing that they're going to explore, and they hit the valley of despair. So and eventually they wanted to quit, very kind of just past maybe first, I want to say 2 months or 3 months. The excitement sort of faded, right? And they have this realization of like, oh my God, this is kind of maybe a little harder than what it looks like on the outside. And they wanted to quit simply due to like the overwhelm, right? And it's the same. I remember when they started with karate, it was sort of the same thing. So at the beginning, everything was hard. People there were already in sort of like at the advanced level where we're there exactly today. But I remember it was really discouraging. It was a lot of, new terms and new techniques and new forms. And yes, getting hit in the face was one of them. And this is kind of what happens when you're starting photography business. You're kind of going to go through the same stages. And what we have to understand at the very beginning, and it's the same thing, guys, when you do, I just gave you 2 examples, but like, it's almost the same thing when we're like trying to lose weight, so it's the first 2-3 weeks are actually like fun, it's new and it's exciting, but then you have this realization of like, ooh, this actually will require my time and my effort, and this may take a long time. And this is exactly what we have to realize, that mastering anything, building anything, getting to a goal actually requires more time and consistency than actual intensity of your effort. Because a lot of times, and I mentioned those 3 examples, like a lot of people go hard at the very beginning in the attempt of like getting to this goal faster, but then they simply burn out. They lose the excitement, they lose the momentum, and they don't stick with the tasks that are required to get you to the goal. In this case, it's building the photography business. So it's very important to understand that when you're starting this journey, when you're scaling, when you're trying to go to the new level, don't expect overnight success, right? Like realize that it may take 6 months, it may take 8, 10, 12 months. sometimes even longer to get to the higher level. So something you guys need to understand as far as the slide. Let's see before I switch over. The last Zen master requires 6-12 months. So you see it on the slide, and that's exactly what I mean. So so what happens with photographers? Like, how does this apply to photographers? And here on the slide, I listed portrait photography, real estate, wedding photography. Each genre jump resets your valley of despair cycle. We'll talk about what this cycle really is. I'll actually show you visually what it looks like. And then it says mastery shortcut. It's consistency, time, and support system. So I'll talk about it in a second. But what happens is with photographers, very often somebody picks a genre. And let's say at the very beginning, usually folks start with like portraits of just single people, maybe seniors, maybe kids, maybe babies, because it's just one subject to focus on and you don't have to worry about arranging people in groups. And so it's just less to worry about. So what they do that, it's like they pick a genre and then they realize that there's actually like, oh, there's some like lighting that I have to worry about, maybe some settings that I have to worry about. Maybe talking to the client, like, what is it that I have to say? And very soon into this process, 2, 3, 4 months into it, they actually look at other photographers, and I'm just going to use like, I don't know, real estate photographers, and they figure, that actually seems easier because real estate photographers, like, they don't have to interact with anybody. They can just kind of work on their own in a quiet space. And this is what they sort of, that's again the perception of it, right? And then they switch. They go, this one is too tough. I'm going to switch over and do real estate. And then they realize it's like, oh my God, now I have to worry about like angles and have special lenses that allow me to like control the straight lines in my images. And like there's special lighting, almost like the studio stuff that I have to buy. And again, and 3, 4 months, 5 months into it, they switch again, right? Then they look at wedding photographers like, well, weddings are easy. You just walk around and like do candid shots and maybe arrange some people, and they switch to weddings. And then with weddings, story just repeats itself, right? They face the same challenges. They now understand that it's like, oh my God, it's the timeline, and I'm gonna have to kind of guide people through the process on the day of the wedding, and it's like I have to deal with other vendors, and there's a lot of people, and it's like, yeah, there's more money, but so this is exactly what I want you guys to realize. It's the shiny object syndrome. It's this other thing. It's like we say, the grass is always greener on the other side. It seems easy, but once you start understanding the details, you get very quickly overwhelmed. And at one point, you hit valley of despair, which is the bottom of the curve, which I will show you in a second. And you tend to go and you tend to reach out for another shiny object, something that seems easier and better. And it's just something you have to understand that happens. And each of those jumps, when you go from like being super overwhelmed to like something new but not knowing anything about it, resets that process. So it's like every single time you hit the valley of despair, you are overwhelmed, you switch subjects, you do again, you realize there's a lot of stuff, and you go to the next subject. So it just repeats itself. And I mentioned on the slide, the mastery shortcut, like how to solve this, the solution to this is 3 things: consistency, time, and support system. That's really it. You guys can really, with a long enough timeline, you can accomplish anything. And I'll give you an example. Let's say I told you to like, hey, learn French, or pick a language, right? Can you do it? Can you do it for tomorrow? No. Can you do it this week? No. Can you do it this month? Like, you can probably master a couple sentences. Like, sure. Can you be fluent in a month? No. Can you be fluent in 10 years? Totally, right? Can you be fluent in a year? Now things get interesting, because it's like, well, if I go hard enough, I'm consistent enough, I practice every day, like, can I speak French? You can speak French. Maybe you're not going to be super fluent, but like, can you do it in 2 years? And things become real. So it's like between like a super short timeline, this is like a super long timeline. You have to basically pick where you want to be. Like, if you want to get there faster, you're going to have to do more work. You're going to have to practice more. And if you have time, if you don't care about time, it's just like, I know I'm going to get there. I'm just going to give myself whatever time is required to get there, right? Like, you can master any skill, including photography or anything else. So that's really what this slide was about. And then next, I believe I have an image, and I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Let me see if I can. Oh, much better. So on this image, this is exactly what I talk about when I say valley of despair, and you see 5 phases. And this is a mental thing. This has been studied. Look it up. Um, you guys have 5 phases. Why am I showing 4 when I say 5? 5 phases. And the phase number 1 is the uninformed optimism. I'm just going to read it out, and then we're going to talk about them individually. So you have uninformed optimism. Then you have informed pessimism. Then we go to and hit valley of despair. And then we have informed optimism. And then we have success and fulfillment. Now, let's just dissect it, take it apart. So here in phase 1, uninformed optimism, everything looks great. Everything looks easy. You can probably get there in no time. And this is where we pick on like this new topic, new genre. We try to explore it, and it's just like we only see the positives, obviously, because we have no idea what it means. What do we have to do? A lot of us like, hey, I can do photography, charge $4,000 just to walk around with a camera. Like that sounds easy for a lot of money. And then you realize it's like, oh my God, I actually have to master my thing. I actually have to create my maybe website. Maybe I have to track my leads. I have to talk to my leads, which is I kind of have to know a little bit of sales. And then you have fulfillment. Then you have the things at the wedding that you have to do. And this is where you move from phase 1 when you're all cheery and happy to phase number 2, which is informed pessimism, because now we're starting to doubt. And it's like more of those things hit us. It almost feels like drinking from a hydrant. I use that term a lot, but it's so much information that we do get overwhelmed, and we start to kind of like back out, and now it seems like maybe it's not really what we wanted, right? And then with enough time, if you're hit with enough of those things, you actually are going to hit the bottom of this curve, and you're going to be in a valley of despair. And this is where people back out. This is where people say, no, this is too much. I can't do it. This is not for me. They find excuses. I'm not going to have time. My wife doesn't want me to do it. I'm busy with kids. Your brain is very, it's called in psychology confirmation bias. So your brain will provide you enough of information to now make that decision. Okay, so when we get overwhelmed, the brain does this exercise, and you're gonna, trust me, you're gonna find enough reasons to back out. And the magic is knowing that if you simply give it enough time, you will learn the task. And this is, guys, this is, imagine, like, go back in time when you started walking. That wasn't perfect on day 1. You actually had to fumble and stumble and go down and get up. When you started eating, like, you were not operating your fork and your knife properly. Actually, quite frankly, some people still don't know how to do it. But the thing is, it takes time to practice that. To think about like tying your shoes. I can go on and on, right? Like at the beginning, it's hard. You sit there, you struggle, like you get pissed off. But eventually, you can do it with what is mastery, if we have to define it. Like, how do we know how to do something? It's like you can tie your shoe with your eyes closed. So like no cognitive resources go into tying your shoe. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. It's a manual task. Like a lot of times you're driving a car and you kind of space out because you're thinking about something else, and you get from point A to B and you're like, I don't know how I got here. It's like your subconscious mind, it's a mastery. Like, you know it so well that on the bike you can basically ride your bike without holding the like without even like nothing cognitive goes into you riding the bike. Like, you can just talk to your friend while riding a bike, or you can resolve problems while riding a bike, because it's done on the subconscious level where your brain just does it because it knows so well how to do it. So phase number 3 is valley of despair. This is when we really get discouraged, and we move over back to phase 1, and we usually start something new. And if you simply continue at the bottom, you have time, right? If you simply push through it and just get uncomfortable for a little bit and realize it's like you're new to this. It's like learning how to eat, how to walk, how to ride a bike, how to drive a car. This is like, I'm gonna have to learn this photography thing. It's like, it looks like a lot of things, but like I'm a visual guy. So I usually like to put let's say there's 7 different areas that you have to master. I'll let you in on a little secret, by the way. If you look down at the bottom of the screen in the logo right here, you can see this camera. It's the representation of a DSLR camera, and if you pay close attention, you're going to see that it's composed of 7 different categories, right? 7 different colors, and it's because in our Facebook group we walk through those 7 phases, and we basically tackle camera, editing, client interaction, business component of your business, lead generation, tactics for the wedding, and like automation for the business. So everything is there. I would encourage you. I'm going to take a second before I go to phase 4 and show you guys. Let me see if we can flag it here. If you're watching on YouTube or maybe on Facebook on your computer or laptop, you can just scan the QR code. This will get you to this will show you the link for the both the YouTube channel and the Facebook group. So I would like to invite you, if that's something you're interested in. If you find this content valuable, you can go there, or if not, you can just type in easyproimage.com/group and you'll get there. So it's all of these recordings, if you're watching maybe this for the first time, are actually stored under guides. It's a free group. You can just go in there and I discuss every single concept of photography business. So I hope you can find this helpful. But going back to the chart here, phase 4 is, so you basically push through it, and after a while, like those new things, they just come in, and eventually it stops, because it's like the 7 areas that I mentioned. If you can master those, you can almost lay it out in front of you on the table, on the wall, and you can basically say, okay, so it looks like I got it. There's 7 areas, and it's like, now I just have to not master, but know enough about each one of them to make this successful. So it's like there's actually a formula right behind this, and if you simply follow it, it will work for you. There's no doubt. It's just you have to give it enough time and practice it, and have, like I said, have the support system. This was the third thing I mentioned, because when you join somebody, when you work with somebody, whether it's an individual, whether it's your mentor, whether it's group, like we have the Facebook group, and you surround yourself with individuals that are doing the same thing, they're also asking the same questions, you basically accelerate your process, right, of learning, because you're not just you trying to figure out all of these things. Usually there are people where, let's say there's 7 areas to kind of like, I'll use that word, master. Somebody may be paying attention to area number 3 while you're paying attention to area number 1. Sometimes people like to join forces and be like, hey, can you tell me about the 3 and I'll tell you about 1. And this process then becomes so much faster in the group. If you're working with a coach, like I work with the individuals to help them go through this process, because a lot of times the struggle, they don't like pricing, packages. What do I do? What do I say? How do I make the client to buy? How do I make my conversion rate, which is like a business term, to whatever percentage? It's something that's going to take them a very long time to do. Not that they cannot get there; they can definitely get there. But like when they work in the group or with me individually, they can get there much faster, because essentially I sit down and I do an audit of where they are, and then I personalize and sort of customize that process to them. So we identify the gaps. They actually go and do a little survey. I actually can I show this to you guys? easyproimage.com/start. Like if you're gonna hit that, not hit that link, but go to this link, you can actually do a little survey and go through this. Like it's almost it's not a survey, it's an evaluation almost, that takes into account all the areas of business, photography business, and it spits out a report for you. It's absolutely free. You can just go there and go through the exercise, and it will basically give you the gaps, right? The weaker areas that you should be focusing on. Whether, some people struggle, like some people are really good at photography, but like not so good with maybe brand or content or sales. This will help you resolve that. So back to our chart again. we go through phase 3, we push through it, we now know we have to learn a couple things, and then we enter phase 4, which is not like immediate success, but it's more of a like, okay, I know what I have to do, I know who I have to do it with, and that's basically now you're in a phase of like, this is not too bad, this is just gonna take some time, I have to set up the website, I have to set up maybe my online gallery, maybe I have to find a company that's gonna do my albums. But it's like you then just go through it. It's just pure work, right? So like at the beginning you need to figure this out, but now it's like it's just pure time investment, right? So that's what you're going to be doing here, and eventually you hit phase 5, which is it's a mastery, confidence and results. So then basically you get to the point where like you just know how to do it and you just get better. You'll never stop improving. Your work will evolve, even your style will evolve. You're going to change options, you're going to change products, you're going to change prices, obviously. But at that point you're already operational. You have consistent lead flow. People come in, ask for you to do the work, and then things are you're basically in la la land because things are fully operational. So that was the chart. Let me see what we have on the next slide here. Yeah, so this is just a walkthrough. I already took you guys through it. This is just a description. I'll briefly go through it. So uninformed optimism, again, pure excitement without knowledge and knowing challenges ahead. Number 2, informed pessimism. This is where reality hits. Effort and complexity become clear, and doubt starts to like creep in. And then you hit valley of despair, which is the emotional low point. Like this is actually your physiology of your body. You're going to, same way as you feel hunger, you're going to feel like you just want to give up. Like this is totally normal. Everybody goes through it. And there's a strong temptation to quit or pivot. This is just what we do. Like it gets too hard, I'm not going to do it. And then you quit. And like, don't do it. Just push through it with enough time. Like just keep collecting the information. It will eventually snap in and make sense. And then you enter phase 4, informed optimism, where resilience builds. Skills start showing real progress because you're eventually going to learn like you've learned anything else. And then true mastery, confidence, and consistent results in the last stage of success and fulfillment. So this was just same thing about it in words. And then we have 3 ways to combat the valley of despair. Give yourself runway, track your progress, and get support. So I said it at the very beginning, I'll say it again, commit to 6-12 months per genre before making any switches. So just something you guys have to remember, that that this is going to take time. You're going to have to commit yourself, and please don't expect to be successful in the first month and first 2 months. This will take time, just purely because you're building stuff, you're learning something. Even when people start to come in, even you can get clients in your first month, but like for you to establish this, let's say your sales script when you're meeting with clients, it's going to take a couple months. Again, you can cut that time by joining a group, joining a photographer, working with another photographer, working with a mentor. That's always the fastest way to get there. And then track your progress, document small wins to stay motivated during tough periods. So we always have this thing of like this, what do I want to call this? We build in our brain this simulation of what this business should look like. And we compare it to this image on day 1. Don't do that, because it's almost like losing weight. Like you always have a number in mind, right? And I use that analogy just because everybody can relate. And we have this number on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 21, and it's like, oh my god, I only lost. It's like our expectations, what we expect should happen versus the reality of the situation. So track your progress, have the small wins. It's like, can I build my gallery first? Done. Can I build my contract for the second? Done. Can I come up with some sort of a script for the client? Done. And it's like, have those as milestones instead of comparing that to a fully operational business. Sometimes you're looking at a photographer who's on level 27 and you compare yourself to like, well, I'm not good enough because because this guy is already at that level. It's like this dude had to, or girl had to go through step number 1 too. Like they had their day 1 in their business, right? So it's just like it took them. Always look at the time. Like when you're looking at somebody and they look like they achieved success, ask them how long did it take, and I bet it wasn't a week. So just something to remember. And then get support, join programs, find mentors, surround yourself with a community. And this is exactly what I'm doing and what the community is doing. So that's, it's an option for you. If you find this helpful, I'll include something in the description, maybe as a link. And that's really that. And I think that was our last slide. Could be wrong. Valley is normal. So this is just reiterating the message. Quitting resets the cycle. Remember about this every single time you change. You go to another genre. You go to another thing. Maybe you're changing, and it's not even within photography. It could be like, hey, I want to make money with my camera. And then second thing is like, I'm just gonna, go and power wash people's houses, or I don't know why that's on my mind, but but you get the point. It's like every single thing will require effort, and it will require time and maybe money. Because if you're starting photography, this is power washing somebody's house. It's like you're gonna have to buy power washer or some equipment or some chemicals. Same way as you would have to for photography, for equipment, maybe computer, and maybe definitely camera and lenses, or maybe you can rent it at the very beginning. So it's like just understand that this is the same regardless of what you're doing and where you're moving. Consistency compounds. Compounding is, Warren Buffett maybe called it the 7th, 8th miracle of the world, because with time you're getting better and you're learning a lot of meta skills. So you get better and better over time. Push through the low point and you'll find your momentum. So just remember that, like at the beginning, nothing is easy. It's a new skill, and the older you get, the harder it gets. Like if you think, I'm not gonna go and sort of dice through the biology of it, but like kids just do it naturally. As kids we do it naturally, and then as we get older, that ability of like learning kind of fades away. Again, a lot of it is indoctrination, and a lot of it is the ego building thing. So at 25, we basically cut off, and instead of trying to learn more or unlearn the bad things, we tend to just focus on protecting the ego, and we don't want to learn. Like everything seems like it could be almost an argument when somebody gives us something new. So just something to remember. The next steps: commit to your current path for 6 months minimum. So it's almost like I want to give you a challenge. Like, can you just do it for 6 months, but consistently? Don't just wait 6 months. Like do one photo engagement and then wait for 6 months thinking that time will solve your problems. Like you actually have to do the work, right? And then 2, start tracking one small win each week. Can you pick like a milestone that you can tackle? And with enough weeks, with enough time, it will compound to, it'll just compile, like it'll just work. And find your support system. I think I've said it enough times here. You don't have to do this alone. Every master was once a disaster. It's just a funny thing, a quote I found. Your valley has an end. Just understand that. Like if you guys can get through this, my objective here to do this training was for you to just understand, like this discomfort, it's there. It's going to be there with every single challenge you guys tackle, and understand you can go through it, and it's going to be uncomfortable. Get comfortable getting uncomfortable. That's my advice. And if you need to reach the group, this is actually you have some links here for the Facebook group. You can feel free to message me on Facebook. If you have any questions, if you're stuck somewhere, I think of it as like, kink in the hose, let me know. Let me unstuck you. You can just reach out. There's an Instagram thing, and trying probably to get X into the mix. We'll see if it works, to just test some ideas. But this is how you guys can reach out. I already gave you the group. You're probably going to find something in the description of this video. And that is it for today. Don't have a topic for next week, as always. And I would like to encourage you to leave those comments, maybe something you're interested in, maybe something you're stuck on. Let me know on Facebook or YouTube, and let's get you unstuck. This is it for today. I hope it was helpful. Again, this is Marcin. Great having you guys here. I really, really appreciate it, because I know you're kind of paying for this information with your time. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.